Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Smart City CTalk, Smart Finance and Taxation session will begin in 5 minutes. Please take your seats and kindly turn off your cell phone or turn it to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Smart City CTalk, Smart Finance and Taxation session will begin in 1 minute. Please kindly take your seats and turn off your cell phone or switch it to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Smart City CTalk, Smart Finance and Taxation session will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seat and kindly turn off your cell phone or switch it to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and online viewers from around the world, thank you and welcome to join us in the 2023 Smart CTC Talk, Smart Finance and Taxation session. My name is Maggie Wu, and I will be the MC for today. Every year, CTalk serves as a platform for practitioners and CT representatives to share their values and visions. After waves of challenges brought by the COVID-19, thanks to the joint efforts of the government and the people, cities have emerged from darkness, learned to navigate the post-pandemic era, and develop technologies and models that are more in line with the new normal. This year, we are so glad and also very honored to invite overseas experts to be here with us in Taipei to share their smart city experiences in the field of finance and taxation through a physical event. At the same time, experts from home and abroad will also engage with one another to share and exchange their insights and ideas to celebrate a city digital transformation and integration through smart financial technologies. And now to kick off, I would like to invite Commissioner of Department of Finance of Taipei City Government, Commissioner Shi Mingyou, to come up to the stage and give us the opening remarks. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Commissioner You.
Hello, good morning. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be on behalf of Taipei City government to give opening remarks. I'm Xu Mingyu, the Commissioner of Department of Finance. And you know, this year, there are two expos holding together in this building. One is the Smart City Summit Expo, that we want to digital transformation to bring our smart city to new heights. And the number two is the Net Zero Expo. So how about that? I want to talk both. I want to combine both topics. So I want to talk toward a smart and net zero Taipei. So in the very beginning, welcome everyone, including our moderator, our speaker, and our panelists, and all the distinguished guests. So, welcome to Taipei. And do you know that Taiwan ranked #1 in terms of the global 4 aspects? And ranked #4, Taipei is the safest city in the world. And #10, the most livable city in the world. And so currently we have 2.5 million population on 271 kilometers square. And our temperature is very comfortable, But maybe unfortunately, by 2030, there will be catastrophic impact due to climate change. This is why that we need to do something. So maybe by 2050, the net zero emission will be a global consensus that we need to do. So for example, for the COP27, that we endeavor ourselves to control our temperature within 1.5 Celsius degree by 2050. By the way, the agreement for loss and damage fund that being implemented according to the Sham-Mel-Shi implementation plan. So basically that you can see that the major cities around the globe, through the 5 major continents, have the consensus to deal with climate change. So how about Taipei? Because actually that we have already implemented the carbon reduction, the net zero law want to have a legal foundation. So basically that you can see we have the so-called self-governance ordinance for the net zero emission. And we have 8 major pathways, including the carbon removal, the green energy, conserve energy, green transportation, reduce waste, carbon sink, adaptation, and sustainability. So you can see this chart that we try to lower down the greenhouse gas emission gradually. And we hope that by 2050, that it will become totally zero. But it's not easy, we know. So we try to analyze the propulsion structure in terms of the GHG. So we can find that currently maybe 76% come from residential and commercial building, and 19% come from transportation, followed by waste and industry. So we have we can see the net zero emission pathway, the 3 major ones. First is that to deal with a residential and a commercial building, no matter it's a new or existing building, we want to make the energy efficiency disclosure and to replacement with renovation to meet the level 1 energy efficiency, to meet the smart zero carbon building. And for the second one is the transportation. We know that the green transportation, MRT, we make it a circular line and expanding cycling paths and sidewalk as to have 4U shared vehicle to low carbon traffic zone to become low carbon green transportation. And the waste we need to reduce. We need to ban on plastics. We need to increase the recycling recovery rate to transform incinerator into green energy circular park to become zero waste and full recycling. And of course, we thank the central government their help in terms of the financial, the energy transition and the carbon foundation funding to become zero carbon Taipei. And I will give you 2 examples, which is the net zero emission demonstration. First one, the Beito Shilling Technology Park, that for the first phase, that we want to meet the standard 1 level for energy efficiency in order to save electricity and to cut carbon emission. And number 2, for new building, GHG offset project for 10 years and 10% every year will execute the offset project based on Climate Change Response Act. And for the next step, for the operation, use more than 10% renewable energy. And the energy saving consulting replacement subsidy. Okay, so another example of social housing. Currently, we have 20,000 social housing we try to supply. And how about that we combine with the sustainability, energy saving, intelligence, accessibility, etc. is a cycle of 3R: recycle, reduce, and reuse. And currently, we have a pilot run on Nangang Depot, which is quite nearby here. And the low carbon green transportation, which I believe the Department of Transportation will elaborate later, so I just skip it. And so the zero waste and full recycling, I'm sorry, because maybe by 2025, the disposable item is not allowed anymore. And the ban on plastic in hotel, and the carbon capture regulation, and by 2050 become zero waste. For example, last week, the Taipei Exchange visited Taipei City, and I hosted a meeting with my deputy, Ms. Hu, by my side, that in the future we're going to issue the so-called sustainable bond. We make it happen in the future. And I will have a quick something share with, we call it treasure goods, because another idea we try to do. And basically, I'm Community Department of Finance. We have a team. I need to supervise both our taxation bureau and our small secure loan bureau with our director, Ni and John, together here. And I also need to supervise the little local bank. It's a fifth credit cooperative bank. So our member have 1,200 staff. But how about that? Because for the agency, the products, if we don't want to use it anymore, but don't dispose it, maybe someone will use it. So we'll play the role of the matchmaker, just like to help the bride to finding the match right. So with this kind of concept, we have the website on the top, so everybody could search maybe hundreds of items you can see. So we have already more than this number of goods being treasured already, and we try to expand our cooperation more than 4,300 agencies, and we keep doing that, provide a convenient service in terms of Pay Taipei in the mobile payment to bring the non-cash payment reach 60%. Okay, so the website, if you have interest, you can refer to. So before conclusion, once again, I sincerely welcome everyone come to Taipei on behalf of our City Mayor Wang Jiang, and thanks to the contribution of our Department of Information Technology, that please spend some time to our first floor. We have a Smart Taipei pavilion over there with 10 themes smart waiting for you. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Yo, for the inspiring remarks, as well as the two remarkable examples of the green development of Taipei City. And now Commissioner Yo will be making a presentation and share with us the development and also the outlook regarding the smart finance and taxation in Taipei City. So ladies and gentlemen, with another round of warm applause, please join me in welcoming Commissioner Yo.
Okay, I just talk on behalf of Taipei City government, but right now I talk something about finance. So it's a smart finance and taxation. Finance is quite important for everyone. If we put the double N in finance to become horizontal in symmetry, it will become north, Bei, Taipei pay, and pay means you need to pay. Pay for what? Pay for tax, pay for your rent, etc. Okay, so once again, I'm showing you Community Department of Finance, and you know that my outline, that why smart finance taxation matter. And number two, I will cover several topics. But for the past 3 years, everybody suffered from COVID-19. But our city need to keep moving. We still need to collect tax. So we must utilize some technology, such as cloud and big data, to fulfill our mission. So, Taipei is the capital city of Taiwan. That not only Taipei City government, but also our central government, our parliament located, and our presidential office located. So it's very important. So we have very large scale finance scale. I give a number that every year we need to collect revenue for about $6 billion US. for all the construction infrastructure expenditure for Taipei. And by the way, that after our city mayor Wang Zhang took office, we tried to lower down our city debt by 2 billion to show our finance discipline. And we rank number 1 in terms of financial capability. It's not what we describe ourselves. It's also recognized by central government. You can see that we level 1 surpass other 5 municipalities and the rest city and counties. And also, WCCD, which means the World Council on City Data, we received the platinum certificate for consecutive years. In terms of financial indicator, such as debt coverage ratio, such as capital spending, such as the own source revenue, we perform quite good. And you know, in Taiwan, because the major taxation belongs to central government, they enjoy 70%. For local government, we can only collect 30%. But under this circumstance, we try to increase our financial self-owned capability. So you can see the number, the self-raised finance revenue, the ratio is 64%. It surpassed other 5 municipalities once again. So, but something happened, you know, you still remember, especially for the past 3 years, that everybody suffered. And you still remember vividly that when the lockdown, that you need to work at home. You're being isolated. You're being quarantined. And basically, the lockdown that our economy hurt, our GDP down. So we need to do something. So we need to apply using e-technology to provide convenient service measures. And there are a couple of measures I want to introduce with you. And first one is that, of course, during the lockdown, basically you could not go out. You could not come to our tax office, but we still need to collect the tax, right? So this is why that we provide an online tax service. And maybe after the lockdown, you could go out, but you're afraid to go too far. Maybe you only want to stay around your neighborhood. So we took the initiative to cooperate with our local village chief or the borough chief to install encounter to service nearby the neighborhood. And then this kind of service quite broad with 8,000 applications. And you can see including the online counter, online consultation, the peers' right protection, on-site survey, and check and sign, etc. And but one thing, because which tax rate you should apply to? Because you know the use for residential and the commercial totally different, but we don't know because we could not go to your house. But thanks to the technology, thanks to the online on-site survey, that we could know something happened in your house, and we could judge what kind of tax rate that you should apply to. But maybe you think that it's a misunderstanding. Well, you pay too much. Then don't worry, because we have taxpayer ombudsman to protect taxpayers' right. So, but you know, nowadays, luckily that we could remove our mask and you could go to office, but you're still afraid, right? You're still afraid of contact, you're still afraid of long queue, but don't worry because we use a robot, a machine. With a machine, we can shorten the consulting time, reduce the contact, expand the service beyond the region, and enhance customer satisfaction. So this kind of service currently reach almost 10,000 cases, is a fully functional with only one finger. And it says characteristics, including that we have this kind of surface at 12 administrative district. So basically everywhere that you can find one. And number two, that provide 21 tax surface and with only one machine. And by the way, that we need to identify your identity with all kind of multiple verification measures. And could serve for 24 hours, and we share this resource with other cities. So basically, before, traditionally, you go to office and our civil servant will serve you, but after work, they need to go home. But right now, with this kind of robot, they could serve you day and night. Even if someday you could not fall asleep in the midnight, you want to find a robot to help you, that's fine. Okay, so with this kind of survey, there's some photo that you can refer to. And then the next topic will be the new visualization. Okay, so you can see the graphics here. That for example, in Taipei, the property tax is quite important. And we have 1.3 million housing tax cases we need to calculate. And of course, for the building, the cost is very important, the cost. But not the cost, the proverb. Location, location, location really matter. So we use 1,351 street value index to measure the location that you should pay. And by the way that we use big data to calculate the so-called COD, the coefficient of dispersion, because I paid a visit to Canada, United States before, and I learned what they do. So we want to make our tax more equitable and fairness. And then, how about if you want to use our city land, you need to apply for rental. Currently, we have 2,000 cases already, but you want to apply a new one. And once again, you're afraid, contact. Don't worry, because we have a totally new measure. We called it, we can see here, it's a video rental service crowd. It's a new and the only one. Because in Taiwan's 22 city counties, we're the only one to have this kind of service. So basically today, we just released the news to the media that we have this kind of function. And basically that last week I held a press conference, and this is me, and I applied directly using the function of cloud rental to apply, I want to rent. And okay, so with this kind of surface, it's quite broad surface. If you want a new lease or renew the old lease or transfer lease due to ownership change or reassurance of rent payment, etc., just take out your mobile phone and scan the QR code, and we have our video to demonstrate how to use in YouTube. So the feature is once again real-time online platform. The first one, increase efficiency, diversified service. And for the income tax, basically central government, but I promote on behalf of Minister of Finance because everybody has a mobile phone. For myself, I have two. So how about you use a mobile phone to file your income tax? And you can see the percentage increased to almost 30% already. And the reimbursement, because of net zero, we want to go paperless. So how about in the past, because a lot of civil servants here, that if your official trip for your accommodation, for your meal, you need to get reimbursement back to office, but before, use a lot of paper to stamp. It's a waste. So we try to make it electronic, right? So the business entity, the invoice, and our government, with this kind of reimbursement system, the payee, most the business entity will receive the money, mostly 99.9% through remittance, and only very few cases with checks. So we can see the reimbursement rate increased to almost 100%. And in terms of invoice rate, 99%, slightly slower than this one, because you know what? For the small business, they protest to our city council, and city council questioned us. So we could not 100% forcefully implement the e-invoice policy, but still improve a lot compared to 3 years ago. So this kind of benefit is quite huge. For the past 3 years, with 1.3 million cases, 700 billion new Taiwan dollar, we can save paper, reduce cutting trees, save carbon emission. And it's why that other agencies visit and learn our treatment, promote to 100 department to fulfill this policy. Okay, before my conclusion, that being Commissioner of Department of Finance, that I want to enhance our finance value-added revenue sustainability to support construction with finance and to cultivate our finance with construction to achieve the goal to boost financial performance, promote development participation, strengthen revenue tax reasonableness, create value of city properties. Okay, so the conclusion that the definition of smart finance is that everybody's finance so good because everybody is so smart. And once again, thank you for your participation, and I appreciate that we have a lot of colleagues come here. So because we, Taipei team, finance team, always serve for our citizens. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Yo, for the wonderful presentation on the smart finance and taxation in Taipei City. As mentioned by Commissioner Yo, the pandemic not only brought challenges, but also opportunities for cities to optimize their public service for the citizens. In the CTalk this year, we are honored to be joined by a great many experts in the field of finance and taxation at home and abroad to share and explore the latest global trend and development of smart finance. Moving on for the second keynote speech, we are honored to have Professor Malik Khan Kotadia to be our speaker. He is the co-founder and board chairman of the Global Impact FinTech Forum. We are honored to have him with us in person today. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Malik Khan Kotadia.
Good morning, everyone. Ni hao. So it's a pleasure to be back in Taipei, one of my favorite cities in the world and a place where I have spoken at many, many conferences. But as Commissioner Yo said, we had 3 years of the pandemic. So I was last here in October 2019 for a similar conference where I spoke on blockchain. So it's a delight to be back here in person. And thank you, Commissioner Yo, for really giving an overview and a context of how smart finance supports the development of smart cities. So what I will try and do is give you a broader overview because I wear, and this is a little bit about me. I wear many hats in the fintech and digital finance space, and I'm fortunate to be included every year for the last few years in the top 50 or top 100 global fintech experts and influencers. Apart from being a professor of fintech, I am also the co-founder and current global board chairman of the GIFT Forum, or the Global Impact FinTech Forum, which is a global think tank in this space. We have experts, policymakers, government officials, senior bankers, fintech founders from more than 70 countries. So I have the benefit of learning from experts and interacting with experts all over the world. And I'll try and share some perspectives. I know time is very limited, so we can't go into detail, but hopefully I'll leave behind some ideas, so that will be helpful. And thank you once again, Commissioner Yo, Deputy Commissioner, and the Taipei City government for inviting me. And whenever I get invited by anyone from Taiwan, I can't say no. So this is a framework I have put together. When we say smart finance or finance 4.0 and its role in supporting smart cities, It's such a broad idea and definition, so I thought I'll put something simple, and I call it the vocabulary of digital finance or smart finance. So what is the ABCDE? The A here stands for artificial intelligence. And when I used to speak about it before 2021, it was a concept that people understood, but it was something of a mystery. But now with ChatGPT, everybody's talking about AI and what chatbots can do. But there's so much more AI does beyond just chatbots and conversational AI. The B here is blockchain, and I'll hopefully share some ideas on what blockchain is doing in this space. The C stands for crowd-enabled, crowd-sourced, but also cloud, as Commissioner Yeo mentioned, and how the cloud plays a role. So you can actually see the C as both crowd as well as cloud. D is, of course, data, and big data plays a big role in the formation of smart cities. And the E in this case is a concept we call embedded finance, which again I'll very briefly touch upon. So this is really the ABCDE of smart finance, if I were to say so. So if you wanted to go into a little bit of a deep dive on what are the mega trends or the big concepts or big ideas in smart finance, I call them the 4 Ds. The first is decentralization. The second is data sovereignty. The third is democratization. And the fourth is dematerialization. So I'll try and explain these. These are not really complicated concepts. When we talk about decentralization, we are talking about the idea of open finance. And I'll very briefly talk about what open finance is and how it is changing the world of finance and banking, and also what city governments can do regarding that. So banking is moving as a service, as you can see here. When we talk about the other D, which is data sovereignty, it's an interesting time because Web 3.0 is really powering an idea of self-ownership of data. The fact that citizens own the data, and whether they are governments, whether they are corporations, big techs like Google, Amazon, etc., they do not own our data. They will in the future be given permissions to use our data. So that's the difference, and that's why it's data sovereignty, or you can call it self-sovereignty. It's powered by technologies which come with Web 3.0, blockchain, decentralized ledgers, but also data wallets. And that's something you'll hear more and more of over the next 3 to 5 years. When we talk about democratization of finance, I think all of us now have heard or probably even engaged with or invested in crypto in some form or the other. But blockchain is so much more than just crypto tokens or what is commonly called as cryptocurrencies. It's a complete technology architecture which is built on a decentralized or a distributed database model. And by its very nature, because it is decentralized, it is distributed, it democratizes finance. And the fourth is dematerialization, which I'll try and talk about. So let's go a little deeper into open finance. And because I come from a banking background, I spent 20 years in banking, most of it in Citibank all over the world. I have worked in a finance organization where we wanted to be everything for all customers. So we used to say we want to be the financial supermarket. If you want anything, come to us. We'll offer you a loan, a credit card, an investment product, and so on and so forth. The world is changing now. Open finance means no single bank or organization or even city government will be able to offer you or should offer you all products and services. Instead of a supermarket for financial products, we are moving to a marketplace model. And of course, there are many benefits of open finance. I do not have time to go into all the details, but these are just some benefits. As you can see here, for customers, obviously, you get many more choices. You can interact or take services from various fintechs of your choice rather than being limited to only your bank. For banks, it's an opportunity. Many banks see it as a threat, but it's also an opportunity to future-proof themselves and develop newer revenue lines and models. For fintechs, it allows them to work with banks in an easy manner through APIs or what we call as application programming interfaces. From an innovation standpoint, it fosters embedded finance or finance which is, as the name suggests, embedded into your daily life. You don't have to go to a bank or even a banking website or a mobile app. From a social perspective, and this is not such a big thing in developed countries like Taiwan, but in the Philippines where I teach, financial inclusion is a big need, and the central bank there has it as one of its key objectives. So open finance can enable more people in the financial system, and therefore it can drive financial inclusion. And from an overall economy perspective, it helps reduce wastage, right? Think about it. If you want to open an account with Bank A, you go to the bank and submit a certain set of documents. If you want to do the same thing in Bank B, you submit the same set of documents. If you want to pay your taxation with the city government, you probably have to submit the same set of documents. So with open finance, you can reduce this wastage, and Commissioner spoke about reducing wastage. This is one of the ways. I'll try and combine 2 and 3, which is democratization and dematerialization of finance. As the name suggests, finance is much more democratized. And by dematerialization, what I simply mean is, at least our generation was used to thinking of money as something tangible, right? Currency notes, coins, something which you can touch, feel, something which was real. Now it's all becoming like, numbers on the screen. So it's becoming dematerialized. Blockchain, as I said, is democratizing money and finance, and is so much more than just cryptos. As an underlying technology, as you can see on the right, it takes away the need for an intermediary, a trusted entity in the center, whether it's the central bank or the clearing house or Visa or MasterCard. And it enables counterparty transactions directly. So peer-to-peer transactions. And you may ask, so Professor, how is trust established? How do two people who don't know each other enter into transactions? Or how can city governments take advantage of it? And that is powered by the very technology that blockchain is built upon. Distributed networks and cryptography. Again, I don't have time to go into details, but feel free to reach out to me. When we talk about dematerialization, it's interesting. We all use mobile banking, internet banking, so we're used to the idea of mobile payments, digital payments, but now we're going beyond that. Money is getting democratized, and that's why I spoke about cryptos. There is a big community which believes that cryptos is the future because it is not owned or even regulated by a central bank or central banks, but it's people's money. But in response, central banks have started launching their own digital currencies, which is central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. And that is money which is programmable. So I said that we were used to the idea of money being something tangible that you can touch and feel, right? But now with central bank digital currencies, that again is becoming electronic, bits and bytes. And it's something which is not a concept anymore. More than 100 central banks all over the world are working on it. I am myself on the advisory board of some central banks which are implementing or trying to implement CBDCs. Hong Kong has done a good job, Singapore, Thailand. I think we have our friend from Thailand here as well. Bank of Thailand, I work very closely with them. And it's programmable money. So governments have an opportunity, central banks have an opportunity to program money, which is not possible with currency notes. So again, Commissioner, something to keep in mind from a smart city and taxation collection perspective. These are some examples. You can see it afterwards. It's happening all over the world. And one more thing I want to talk before I conclude is smart contracts. The idea that smart finance can automate transactions through smart contracts is something which again might be useful for city governments and tax collections, and not just tax collections, but so much more, so many more types of transactions. These are some of the key principles which I thought I'll quickly enlist because I have limited time. It allows for a single source of truth. So it allows for transparency. It is very easily auditable because everything is there on a public ledger, on a common distributed ledger. It cannot be hacked, or it is very difficult to hack. Let's put it this way. So it's immutable and therefore very safe because it's a distributed network. And by its very nature, smart contracts, as the name suggests, are contracts which are automated. So just to conclude, smart finance can offer many benefits to citizens, from data sovereignty, where citizens own their data. They can create a permission system where governments can use their data, but on a need-to-know basis only, and the same with companies. And privacy can be enabled through various technologies like zero-knowledge proofs, which I don't have time to go into today. So in summation, and this is kind of giving a conceptual framework to what Commissioner Yeo articulated, we are seeing extended finance already, which is open finance. We will see embedded or invisible finance. We are already seeing the beginning of decentralized finance. And of course, city governments, corporations, countries, all of us as humans are concerned about climate change. So sustainable finance, which is green and blue finance, and also inclusive finance. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I know I had very limited time, so I had to go through the concepts in, very quickly. But if any of you want to discuss in more detail, I'm happy to, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or email, and I will try and answer your questions. So thank you very much once again. Sheshe.
Thank you very much, Professor Malik Khan Kodadia, for the wonderful sharing and also walking us through the essential technologies and major trends in Smart Finance 4.0. Although we have limited time, but we look forward to having you back soon in the future to hear more insights from you. And once again, the biggest appreciation goes to our two speakers, Commissioner Yeo and Professor Malik Khan Kodadia. Thank you for sharing your valuable experiences on smart finance and taxation. It's truly of great delight to hear from the government and also industry delegates' opinions. And for the last part of today's forum, it will be a panel discussion. So I'm sure everyone must have a very informative and fruitful time. And in the panel discussion, we will be having more distinguished guests and panelists to share their insights with us. The panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. De Joseph Zhou from National Zhengzhi University and joined by local and international financial experts and scholars to exchange their ideas and issues related to smart finance and taxation, and also to provide their insights on international trends. They will discuss how the booming development of smart finance can help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals of ending poverty and reducing carbon emissions, as well as the prospects and challenges that might be encountered. On the other hand, focuses will also be laid on how big data and AI technology can help optimize the tax systems and process. In this session, we are honored to have Dr. De Joseph Zhou to be our moderator. Dr. Zhou is Associate Professor at the Department of Public Finance at National Zhengzhi University. He also serves as an independent board director at Taiwan Cooperative Bank. His most recent research deploys big data research to support program evaluations and policy deployment. He has consulted extensively from corporations, government agencies, and international NGOs. Also, he had also served as chairman of Taipei Financial Center Corporation from December 2015 to September 2018. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our moderator, Dr. De Joseph Zhou. And moving on, I would also like to invite our panelists also onto the stage. Let's welcome Commissioner Shiming Yeo of Department of Finance, Taipei City Government. Professor Malik Khan Kotadia, co-founder and board chairman of Global Impact FinTech Forum. Dr. Pasagan Potokmun, Senior Executive Vice President of Digital Economy Promotion Agency. Mr. Leo Yao, Director of Asian Pacific Account, Houston. And last but not least, Ms. Mavis Xu, Senior Manager of Deloitte & Touche. With a round of warm applause, let's welcome our panelists onto the stage. And once again, it's of true delight that we are able to meet face-to-face through a physical event as the pandemic is subsiding. And now I believe everyone can wait for the insights and discussions from our experts on the stage. And now without further ado, allow me to hand the floor to our moderator. Dr. Zhou, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Very exciting to be here. It's a great day. It's a great venue. It's a great city, of course. And we have a great organizing panelist who will be sharing quite an insight to everyone who wants to know how to become smarter as an individual, as a city, as a global citizen. So I was told every panelist gets 5 minutes only. So we really need to condense the material that you have prepared for all the interested party. So to save time, I will ask Commissioner Yo to share his ideas on how to get the jobs done. I think Mayor Zhang has a lot of initiative to go forward. So please, Commissioner Yo.
Okay, thank you for the introduction from our moderator, Professor Zhao, and very good presentation from Malik. And I learned a lot from the idea of fintech. So in terms of the two topics that I want to talk with, please we can take a look about our presentation. The next page. Find it. Okay, the first one that in terms of the fintech, how to achieve the SDG, that I believe that we can see the enhanced efficiency with this kind of financial system is easier and cheaper to access financial service to reduce the cost of borrowing and increase access to credit. Next page. Next page. Oh, I can do myself, thank you. Okay, in terms of promote the digital payment, that we can see that with this kind of mobile the payment, that before that you pay cash, but maybe if your receiver said that so no, I didn't receive your cash, but with this kind of record, we can track the transaction record. So with this kind of service, the financial transparency and reduce the risk of corruption. And for enabling green finance, that they will better assess the risks and benefits, and including the renewable energy. Because I just mentioned about that last week, Taipei Exchange want to cooperate with Taipei City because we want to issue the green bond, etc. So we want to attract other enterprise to invest. So with this kind of financial idea, it will be better to access. And then in terms of multiple financial things, I will talk something outside our finance topic. First is that, luckily that we could remove our mask right now. So it's a post-pandemic industrialization policy. We help enterprise and the public to face a new normal after the pandemic. And by the way, for the smart medical is also quite important. So thanks to our contribution by our Department of Health, our Commissioner Chen, and he is my classmate in senior high school in Chen Kung University. And Professor Chen and our Commissioner Chen, for example, with the policy claim medical service, and currently we cooperate with 14 life insurance companies, 3 property insurance companies, etc. And by the way that, for fintech, of course, the prospect, the intelligence AI machine or the Malay just mentioned of A, B, C, D, E, right? So with this kind of greater adoption of blockchain, etc., but the challenge is still ahead because we need to supervise, we need to manage, and we need to make our user accept this kind of new idea. And the next topic is about the RPA, because for example, our tax bureau, and we could use the robotic process automation to optimize taxation process with AI technology, such as our land value increment tax and our vehicle tax and amusement tax, etc. And so the last one that we could use this kind of technology, such as Taipei Pass, to optimize service process with AI technology. And once again, that you can see with this kind of service, very thorough in detail. And before my conclusion, that the big data, once again, not only the property tax, but also to analyze the house tax and vehicle license tax to make our finance and taxation smarter and more technology. Thank you very much.
Very nice. I do have a quick question to Commissioner Yo. I think without a single doubt, Taipei City must be the highest performing city when it comes to realization of fintech and achieving SDG goal. But locality-wise, Taipei City is within the core of greater Taipei area.
Yeah.
So everybody learns, public finance knows there is externality problem need to be tackled. Mm-hmm. So how do you collaborate with neighboring city, region, and also at the same time, Taipei City government cannot tackle all the problem. You can work all your staff 24 hours, but still a lot of goals need to be delivered. So how do you reach out? So I think my question is, how do you connect all these wider nets so as to achieve the SDG goal to deliver higher performance, so on and so forth?
Okay, thank you. Very good question from our moderator, Professor Zhao. And, I have three viewpoints to mention about. First is that, in my presentation, currently the population in Taipei, 2.5 million, but the daytime, maybe 4 million. Because a lot of people, they work in Taipei. Even though at work, they go back to New Taipei, etc. So this kind of idea that we need to expand, not only the service for our Taipei citizens, but reach out to our outside city and county, etc. Number two is that, for example, our green transportation. Because in my presentation that we will expand our MRT line, not only Taipei, reach out to New Taipei, and even the hotly debated to the Keelung City. But with this kind of green transportation is a good concept to realize the SDG. And the last one is that it's kind of political, but to be honest, because our city mayor Wang Zhang and the New Taipei city mayor Ho and the Keelung city mayor, they all belong to the same party. So maybe it's easier to have this kind of dialogue to make things happen more efficiently and easier. Thank you.
Very nice. So Taipei City is still leading the charge. Yeah. We look forward to a brighter future. Next, let's go on to Malik. You have given us such a wonderful conceptual framework of how fintech, and in a broader sense, can revolutionize the way we live, and also the company, especially banking, and also the government, to redefine their position in the world. But are there concrete steps when it comes to the government as an individual? For example, for me, should I set up my data wallet now so that I can make the value increase over time? So are there concrete steps that we can take after the speech you have given?
Sure. Thank you, Professor. So there is a very famous saying in Silicon Valley, which many of us must have heard, and I swear by it and I live by it. Whenever I get asked these questions of how much of this is real, how much of this is hype and will pass away, passing fad, it goes something like this: that we tend to overestimate the impact of technology in the short term, but we underestimate it in the long term. So whenever I get asked these questions, or even when I am teaching and discussing with my students, I say, don't ask me what will happen in the next 6, 12, 18 months, because things are volatile, things change. Like, look at the economic situation just a year back to now. It's completely transformed. Interest rates have transformed. The fintech industry is going through a very tough time. Stock prices have crashed. And if you would have asked me the same question 18 months back, it was at an all-time high. So things change in the short term. But if you ask me what will happen, let's say by 2030 or 2035, I would say, yes, I do believe that data wallets are going to become not just a reality, but they will become ubiquitous. Things don't necessarily happen or change overnight. Users don't necessarily adapt to new technology. Like I briefly mentioned about ChatGPT and all the hype around it. Now, many of us who've been in this space, and I'm sure, Professor, you've been teaching this for many years. I first learned about machine learning when I was an engineering student back in 1992. And I'm sure this has been going on well before this. So for the last 30 years, we've been talking about neural networks. Papers have been written. AI has been ongoing under the surface, but now suddenly everybody's talking about it. So there is also this concept of tipping point, right? There comes a point when suddenly things become they come into the mainstream consciousness. It happened with Bitcoin back in, I think, 2017 or 18. Bitcoin has been around since 2009 after the global financial crisis. So the idea of data wallets, and I've personally known some companies which have been offering this for a few years, fintech companies. But maybe now with ChatGPT, now with social media becoming so prevalent and people are becoming much more sensitive about their data, there will come a point where people will start opening up their data wallets, and that is being facilitated more and more by blockchain and decentralized ledger technology. So to that extent, the idea that even these data wallets do not need to be centralized or owned by any one central entity. I think now the biggest thing people are maybe not so concerned as yet, but they're certainly becoming more aware is that, hey, these big tech companies hold too much of our data. Like there's this saying that if you use, there's some statistic that if you use Facebook 150 times or more in a month, then they know more about you and your behavior than even your partner, right? So they really know a lot about you. And it's no longer just as harmless as targeting you with advertising or trying to sell you relevant products. We've seen it's now happening, political manipulation, all of these things are happening. So now it has a real socio-political, cultural, economic implication. And therefore, I foresee this thing, it's very difficult to predict whether it will happen in the next 12 months or 24 months or 36 months. But in the next 5 to 10 years, this is going to become a reality. Thank you.
So also relevant to how you present this great future, I think we have a lot of panelists here sitting here are managing or addressing the smart city initiative. They are facing these very real challenges. I think they all care about data breach, right? One small incident can take down the trust from the citizen. So how do you perceive this risk can be reduced in a few quick words?
Thank you. Again, as you've probably sensed and seen by now, I'm a believer in frameworks. So in my view, it's not just about data privacy or even data protection, but robust data governance, whether it is governments, whether it is big tech corporations, whether it is fintechs, and even the companies that I sit on the board of, I'm very hard on them that their data governance has to be and compliance has to be robust. So I have put together what I call as a 7P framework. I don't have time to go into detail, but it includes things like how you manage your data platform, what are your processes, how well trained are your people? And I don't just mean your information security or your data privacy officer, but everyone in the organization or the government has to have some sensitivity towards data being a responsibility and not just an asset. So there are multiple ways in which, what kind of a platform strategy do you have? What kind of a communication strategy do you have in terms of data breaches? How well can you use decentralized technologies and emerging technologies like sharding, et cetera, to ensure that your data is kept much more safeguarded? How current are you? How robust and updated is your data taxonomy? So it's slightly technical and it's quite a comprehensive field, so I won't go into too much detail, but there is a whole mechanism to ensure that data governance is robust. But again, I'll conclude by sadly saying that in many, many organizations, including some really good ones, it's not taken as seriously as perhaps it should. Thank you.
Very nice. So the key word is data governance. Okay. Next, let's move on to Dr. Pasakung. Welcome. And I know you have prepared a great presentation for the audience. Before we start your presentation, if we do a quick survey, I think 95% of the participants here all has been to Thailand or Bangkok or all these great beaches. But back in 2016, when I participated in the shopping mall conferences, I found out Thailand, Bangkok, the shopping mall operator were already on the forefront of smart and digitalization of their services. They use e-tablet to order the food, the menu, the drink, and things as such. So it's great to have you here and to see the bigger and more precise framework. Please, Dr. Pasakung.
To go on your mention today, we use NFT into our privilege card. So you can buy and get the point into your card based on NFT. So back to my slide, I have a very short 5 minutes. I want to share with you how we drive the smart city in Thailand. So I will skip some slides to make it in times. Okay. Basically, in Thailand, we have the National Steering Committee to set up the policy. Here is the committee is driven by the Deputy Prime Minister. So it is a national agenda. Any city in Thailand, any city with population more than 10,000 can apply to the government to become the smart city. So any city, we don't want to leave anyone behind, not only Bangkok, any city. So we have a criteria. Today we have more than, you see, that allow the country that already apply and get the award. Awards come with the incentive from the government. So this is the criteria. You see at the middle, the criteria number 3 is about the data. That city must implement the data catalog, data exchange, and also data governance. Otherwise, we don't let them pass. So to become the smart city, they have to implement these 7 areas. Not every area, but it's based on their pain points. But the mandatory is a smart environment. They must have at least one. This is smart environment have to be implemented. And this is the KPI they have to list. This is in brief the KPI for is smart area. So if they commit, okay, they can list this KPI. Maybe take 5 or 10 years, okay. But they have to show their effort to become the smart city. Okay, what is the benefit from the private sector that correlate with the local government? Here the benefit from the board of investment. You get the tax exemption for 8 years. The corporate income tax, you don't have to pay the corporate income tax for 8 years on the service that or the area that you implement. This is the from the BOI, the regulation. Or you implement the system, also the same, you get the same benefit for 8 years. So this is why the corporates come talk with the mayor to develop the smart cities. And the mayor, what do they get? The mayor get the budget from the government. Of course, this is why we matching between private and public. This is the benefit from the BOI. You see that tax exemption and another benefit. This is how we use the tax to encourage the private to pay along with the local government. This is for the benefit from the local government. They get the tax incentive from the government. So that's why they want to apply. And another funding mechanism that we have, I may not go into details. And this another one is just brand news. We just announced this one last month. It's called the Thailand Digital Catalog or Digital Service Catalog. So if you have the service of the product, you can apply and list it in our list, DIPA, my office. So in our list, the local government can shopping on this list, and they can do the procurement process with the with the priorities. They can, you can see that in the bottom, the benefit for the private, and the above is the profit for the public and for private. The demand, the demand is in the bottom. Even the private sector, if you buy the service from here, you get a tax exemption 300%. You can claim for the tax exemption from this chart. And the listed product is already currently products qualities from the government, and the major they can trust the service and they can buy it. No need for the e-biddings. They can special procurement process. Okay, I think this is another mechanism that we groom the young ambassador. Yeah, the new graduate student, if they want to develop their hometown, they can come to our program. We train them for 1 week and let them go back to their hometown to help develop their hometown for the whole year. We pay them the salary for the 1 year. This is the program. So this is about the big picture of the Thailand. But for the tangible example, we also have the SSI wallet, self-service ID wallet. So this is kind of digital wallet. You can keep your smart pass. You can keep your COVID vaccine certificate. You can keep your ID on this wallet. The wallet is a mobile app in your mobile phone. This is a Web3 because you have your own decision how to use to show your data to the third party. So it's not belong to the government. So this is the kind of Web3 standard. It's a WTC standard. SSI wallet, self-service ID wallet. So we are implementing this wallet for the citizen in Thailand. And we also have the token for the tourist. It's like a token for you to spend the money in the market or in the hotels. So this is another way to promote the tourist area. It's already implemented in Khon Kaen province in the northeastern of Thailand. So this is just some application about the blockchain.
Okay, very nice. I have 2 quick questions regarding the way you present the Smart City initiative. The first one is, I think, again, all of us who has been to, especially the bigger city, Bangkok, we are a little bit concerned about the transportation. Is the transportation getting smarter? That's one question. The second one is, when you talk about giving it tax incentive to promote all these project and initiative, if I were Commissioner Yo, I would be sweating already. How to find the financing part? How do you get the resources to push forward all these initiatives? So can you kind of talk about these 2 inquiries?
So the mobile, the smart mobility is one of the 7 areas. So it depends on the city to propose their solutions. Even Bangkok, so they have a lot of the rail system. There are more than 10 lines. So the problem is how to make the first mile and last mile work. Well, otherwise, people still use individual vehicles. So they know their pain point. So they have to propose to the government, and then we just grant the budget. And actually, Thailand, we don't want to promote only the big city. We need the small city or in the rural area to become the smart city. They may not need the high-end, high-tech solution. We just need some solution that work and answer the pain point that is good enough. So this is the way that we, Thailand approach. So we want the equality between the big and small city. And for the tax exemptions, so that is from the government, I mean, the federal government, that is passed to the cabinet. So they just have this, I mean, incentive. So it's just to reduce the income from the tax, because we don't need, we exempt the tax from that. Because in return, they make more, I mean, better in the city, smart living, the people, they say income compensate is okay.
Okay, so Commissioner Yo, the money comes from the central government, so don't worry, right? We don't need to finance it from the local property taxes. So Deputy Director, you don't have to worry too much. Also in a relevant sense, but we need to take a 13-hour flight from Taipei Taoyuan Airport to Houston. So next online would be Leo. Welcome back to Taipei, where you grew up. And also in a very different role. Most of these Asian city administration, they look at all these smart city initiatives from one perspective. And Leo promised his presentation would be much more entertaining in a way that we hope to see in the next few minutes.
Well, yes. First of all, I'm very honored to see with all these smart people, and they are finance professional, but I am not. I'm a storyteller. So let me tell you a little story about Houston, where I came from. And before Houston, it was Taipei. I was born in Taipei and grew up in Taipei and living in Houston for 30 years now. And my work is to promote Houston and with Visit Houston, and I'm handling Asia Pacific market. Now, why a tourism promotion guide talking about smart at the Smart City Summit? Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how we use the tax for our city, and especially from my organization, we're using a hotel occupancy tax. And first of all, in US, the government is a little bit different from the government here. We position ourselves as an operator and not the manager. So from every point, we have to think. And also, Houston is a big city. It's the fourth largest city in the United States. And we have a population of 2.6 million. And also we are facing the same challenge as Taipei City has, is we have a big metropolitan area and we have a total 6.5 million population in the metropolitan area, but city of Houston, we only collect tax from 2.7. So we have to serve that 6.5 with the income of 2.7. But I'm not going to talk about the overall tax use. I'm going to talk about my part and for the hotel occupancy tax. And also in Texas, we don't collect personal income tax. But people in Texas, we still pay for the federal income tax, but we don't collect personal income tax. So that make us have less tax income, right? So by that way, we have to smart use our tax, otherwise we'll file bankruptcy. Okay, so we form an organization called Houston First Corporation. It was established 2011 by one of our mayor. And this organization is a nonprofit organization, and also this is a government company. Now let me introduce our organization a little bit. And this is a local government company corporation formed in 2011 and by the city of Houston. And our role is to sell and market Houston for leisure travel and for the business travel, and also for the conferences we call MICE. M stands for meeting, I stands for incentive, C stands for conferences, and E stands for exhibition. That is a major income for my organization from all over the world, because that we all know that is no chimney industry. And also, we consolidate all of Houston properties under our organization. So we own Houston properties. For example, our convention center, and also in this picture, you see the building. The building is our office. We own the building, and next to the building, you see those chimney, the white collar building. That is our convention center, and the convention center is about the size you're sitting here. We own it. And also, we become the destination management organization or destination marketing organization. We call it a DMO. In all USA, we all call this organization as a DMO. Sorry, I have only 1 minute left, but I still have a lot of to tell. Maybe later we can share that information. And well, since we're a government company and we are using a hotel occupancy tax, and we use the tax to promote Houston, we bring the business opportunities to come to Houston, and also we use the money and we operate our assets to making money for Houston, not only promoting and use, and also during the disasters, we're using the money for the first response for the city. Okay, and later on, we can have another opportunity to chat about Houston a little bit. And now, let me show you a very quick video for everybody to get to know Houston.
The fabric of Houston is woven from the ambitions and traditions of people and ideas.
Come on.
We are a city of collaborators who build on one another's inspirations, strengths, and cultures to shape a future we all can share.
Come on.
Together, we are more than 7 million ingredients that make something that cannot be discovered, tasted, or invented anywhere else.
Come on.
A movement, a moment, a future.
Come on.
Together, we are reshaping the culinary landscape.
Come on.
Come on! Cultures combine to create a powerful, flavorful taste of things to come. Louisiana crawfish becomes via Cajun crawfish and noodles. Asian flavors meet Texas-style barbecue. Japanese tapas, Korea Mex, and Nigerian jambalaya set the table for a creative, inventive, cooperative scene.
Come on.
The power of together is creating public-private partnerships that are shaping an ecosystem of businesses in orbit around the Earth, taking us to the moon and beyond.
Come on.
Our together is rocket fueled.
Come on.
The power of together is the power to heal.
Come on.
We are developing the world's most advanced research campus at the world's largest medical city. The greatest minds in medicine, science, academia, and commerce collide here, speeding research and breakthroughs.
Come on.
Together, we are powering the future, evolving the energy supply and science, leading the global transition to a more efficient, sustainable, low-carbon future.
Come on.
Houston welcomes you to say hello to the incredible power and infinite possibility of together. We cannot wait to make tomorrow together.
Come on. Thank you. Actually, we have so much to share and to talk about Houston, maybe in the other opportunities.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
So come on, let's all go to Houston for the next conference and forum.
Yes, please. We have a direct flight from Taiwan to Houston, Eva Air. We have a daily flight. Yeah. So it's very convenient.
Okay, okay. And next, we need to get a very different perspective and insight from Mavis. Mavis is from Deloitte. And I think your work is really linking the concept to the realization of this smarter initiative. So what kind of challenges, what kind of opportunity lies ahead of us. Please.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Deloitte have helped our clients to provide the tax advisory service around the world. And today I want to share the perspective about how global tax leaders in the enterprise, their view about the tax transformation and the technology approach to the tax transformation. Okay. Last year, Deloitte had conducted research to over 300 tax leader in the world, in a big company. Okay, and then they said that from the survey, okay, the tax leaders say that a majority of the tax leader, they want to expand their tax technology investment in tax infrastructure, and they want to redesign and digitalizing their architecture in the enterprise. Okay, and the 29% of tax leaders, they want to make the modernizing specific system in the company about the tax system. Okay, so I think it's very important for company in the tax transformation because in recent years, we see a lot of clients, they do the tax transformation in their companies. Okay. And so what's the driver about the tax technology investment in the enterprise? I think the most important of the three drivers, the first one is they want to strengthen the operating transfer pricing, okay. And the second one, they want to enhance their data quality and the data management and the data governance. I think it's very important, okay, to use the technology and to do more advanced analytics. Okay, and the third one, they want to preparing for the future administration requirement, yeah, some reporting or some analytics requirements. Okay, so that's the three most important drivers for companies that want to do the tax technology investment. Okay, and about how companies, they want to use tax use cases for AI or machine learning. Okay, I think the majority respondents, they say that they want to use AI and the machine learning to help them to classification of tax data. And they want to do maybe prediction about the tax planning for the company or and some reporting or for their analytics. Okay, so I think there's a lot of tax use case for the company they can to use to help them to do some tax planning or tax reporting and some compliance issue. Okay, and I think that's for the companies that's why they want to maybe invest more in the technology to improve their tax process, such as tax process automation, and use AI and ML to help them maybe to do some proactive prediction for their tax operation. So I think it's a lot of tax technology initiatives that help them to do some tax transformation. Okay, and besides the enterprise side, I think the government and the tax authority, they also do a lot of investment in technology to advance their tax technology adopt selection, such as adopt cloud computing or some AI and ML, some process analytics, and to help them to do more some predictive or some tax for fraud, or they want to do this to help them to more advanced technology analytics. So I think that technology help a lot for us, not only in the enterprise side, also in the tax authorities to adopt AI or ML to help them, maybe such as tax planning and some tax reporting or some more advanced tax planning or some analytics activities. Thank you.
So after all, I think tech is not that all disturbing, nasty. Tax can be an infrastructure. Tax can be a service delivered in this innovative way, and tax can be a really smart vehicle to transform our cities. So we have less than 3 minutes. Since we are in Taipei City is really the host of all this big and important event. So please, Commissioner Yo, I think you can have 1 to 2 minutes of concluding remark for all this session, please.
Okay, once again, thank for the moderator, Professor Zhao, and our panelists, Malik, Pasakang, and Li Yao, and our Xu, the accountants. So first of all, that for example, we just mentioned about the tax, and we know the traffic congestion. Maybe moderator mentioned about Bangkok, but for example, the major metropolitan city like London. So a similar, for example, Neihu Science Park, because a lot of people working over there. So our transportation commissioner also negotiated with me. How about that we give some tax incentive? And the answer, just like moderator said, sorry, because this kind of tax reduction needed to, by law, from the central government. Okay, so anyway, but under our leadership, Mayor Wang Zhang, that I believe that traffic congestion has been relieved gradually. So finally, once again, thank you for body participation, especially we know that this year there are more than 1,500 participants. It's a record high for SCME, the Smart City Summit Expo. So don't forget to spend more time to see our booths, hundreds of booths, including our Smart Taipei. And enjoy your time in Taipei. Thank you very much.
So I hope you are even more inspired than I have enjoyed the whole session. So as the moderator of the panel discussion, I happily conclude the session. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zhou, for moderating the session and the lively discussion. And now I would like to take this very special opportunity to invite all our panelists and also Dr. Zhou to gather closer in the center of the stage to have a group photo together. And everyone, may I have your badge to turn to the front side? Everybody? Yes, may I turn your badge to the front side, the yellow side, to the front. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody ready? Look to the front. Yes, we have a go-to pose in Taiwan is to have one thumb up. So everybody, let's thumb up together. Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, it's a great delight to have so many distinguished guests and speakers to join us in person in this year's CTalk session. And to borrow from Mr. Yao's video on promoting Houston, we stay together and we heal together. And not only that, we can also grow and prosper together. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this year's CTalk session on Smart Finance and Taxation. We once again thank you for your participation and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much. And now we will have a 10-minute coffee break. So drinks and refreshments are prepared all for the guests. Outside the conference room, our next session on human-oriented ITS development will begin at 10:40. Thank you very much.
那个财政局宣处的同仁，我们前面合照一张好吗？很难得，好不好？那就是有些人站第一排，站台上，有些人站下面，好不好？Monica, together, in Thai.